The Forbes Women Africa Leading Women Summit 2022 is around the corner and promises an exciting lineup. I'm Moik Peterson, and in today's episode, I'll introduce you to an important new sponsor of the event, MultiChoice. Now, MultiChoice has been telling local stories in local languages for over 30 years. Their vision is to build upon musical exports and take African film and television to the world. The group makes over 5,000 hours of local content annually. The local content represents around 45% of MultiChoice's general entertainment spend. And it has now amassed a library of 65,000 plus hours. Joining me now to give us more on this is Nomsa Philiso, Executive Head of Programming at MultiChoice. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you.
Thank you so much, Moik, and thank you for having me.
All right. Nomsa, why has MultiChoice chosen to sponsor the 2022 Forbes Women Africa Leading Women Summit?
I think for us, supporting women, the cause of women has always been something that is very close to our hearts, and it's at the center of everything that we do. So it was a natural progression, really, in terms of participating in this initiative. And because for us, really, the way that we deal with it is very intentional. You know, we do not just expect it to happen as a side issue. I mean, we've got formal structures in terms of our Women Forum, where we deliberately make sure that we focus on women empowerment.
And what is the message you want to share with viewers and attendees during the summit?
I think for us, it's really just to share the insight and also our success over time. You know, in the past 3 years, we've seen our local content output increase by about 61%. And as research shows that from an African perspective, you know, Kenya, the consumption there is almost twice the world average, with Nigeria and South Africa following very closely. So this is something that we do, and these are the things that are important to us in terms of storytelling. So I look forward to sharing those insights next week.
And Nomsa, tell us more about MultiChoice's vision for storytelling on the African continent.
I think, as you said in your opening, Moik, that we've been doing this for over 30 years, right? And what we try to do is that in every region, we become as localized as possible. So if you think about the fact that we are represented in about 50 countries, and in every region, we make sure that we tell the stories in the local language and we tell the stories in the local nuance, because we understand that it is important for us to be the ones that tell our stories. You know, so for us, it's really about being at the front of telling those stories, but also very important is, you know, just for us not to be insular, and to also to export our stories. And we've seen a lot of successes in the past 2-3 years, where the things that we've told locally are finding expression in the global markets, and with quite excitement as well. So it's very important for us to preserve our culture and our languages, and to tell our stories in the manner that we want to tell them.
Now, Nomsa, before we end our conversation, I'd just like to, ask you this question. What does the future hold for MultiChoice?
So I think for us, we, as a company that sees itself as technologically savvy, we're really moving into the space where we're strengthening our streaming service. You'll see the growth of Showmax. We also have got very interesting technologies in terms of our DSTV Ultra, where our audiences will be able to make selections, whether it is, you know, adding movies at their convenience. We will be able to do that. We also have got a very deliberate intervention in terms of the MultiChoice Innovation Fund, which allows us to create space for the young, technically savvy people that want to get into the space, in terms of giving them that support. But over and above that, we also doing a lot of localization. Recently, we have just launched 2 channels, one in Angola and one in Mozambique. So we're really trying to make sure that wherever we are, we tell our stories with the most local nuances possible. So that's where we are.
All right, that brings us to the end of our conversation. Thank you to my guest, Nomsa Philiso, Executive Head of Programming at MultiChoice. Do join us for the Forbes Women Africa Leading Women Summit on CNBC Africa and streaming live on the 8th and the 9th of March. Until then, thank you to our viewers, and it's goodbye for now.